Hello everyone, welcome to this new TouchDesigner tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to look to the next chapter of the Generative Design book. This is the chapter P.2.1.1 and it's about making this a kind of grid, alignment in a grid with only two lines that are oriented diagonally. You can generate these patterns and have these different outcomes with the interactions suggested. So this is the page for the code, and you can see that this is the same interaction. So okay, let's start. I'm going to open or delete all of this. Really, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to delete. Okay. So first, we need to go up one level, and remember that we have a canvas with a width of 1280 by 1280, and we need to look at VG. Okay. So if we go 1 second to our processing code, we can see that we need a tile count of 20. We need a random seed. We need also a stroke cap. Our background is white. And also, yeah, that's it for now. So let's build this. So here you need to I'm going to close this. You need to split left right, and here you need to select panel, and now make some room for the network. So first we're going to use the line sub. Okay, this line sub will be connected to a null by now, and now we can make our render patch that is with a geometry, and here only we need a camera because there is only a constant material, so we don't need light. But we don't use constant, we will use line material. This line we drag it to our geo, and yeah, then we add a render. This render, we go to common and change here to parent dot width and parent dot height. Okay, pixel format to 32-bit float, and now from here we just only add a transform, so we can have our white background. Remember to put here the one on the alpha, and comp over background color to on. And finally we add a null, and this null we change the name to BG. Oops, sorry, BG, and we make it visible. If there is this blank viewer, you can deactivate it with right click here and display and uncheck backdrop tops. As I said, as I did this tutorial in Spanish before, that's why this is unchecked. Okay, but you can uncheck it by your own. So this is the basic setup. So okay, here if we take attention, we can see that our position of the first line is the same position here, and the next position, the end position, is the position plus the width divided by the tile count. Remember, we need a tile count by 20 for default, so we can start declaring that with a constant. This constant, change name to tile count and the value to 20. I'm going to add this to a merge. Oops, sorry. To a merge, and this one to a null. So we can interpret it here as x and y initial, and now this will be x and y, but with this. So I'm going to put it here, and then I'm going to type parent dot width divided by child count, and I will copy and paste it to y. And now you can see that the first diagonal is already done, but it's looking strange here. So that's why what's happening. That's because our camera, we need to change some parameters. So first we're going to make orthographic, then we're going to make ortho width. This will be like the parent width, and yeah, so we need to make our 20 by 20 grid. This grid, we can make it using tops, so we can instance from there, and the way to do that is using some ramps. So this ramp, I'm going to add a flip, and this flip we're going to change flop to bottom left, so we have this vertical ramp. And now we use a reorder. This reorder, we connect the flip to the second input and the ramp to the first input. We change the output green to input 2, and on common page we change the pixel format to 32-bit float RG. Okay, so now we can add here a null, and this null we can change the name to pos or position as you want. So now we can start instancing this shape, this line, across our canvas. So I'm going to instance page, turn it on, and translate up. We will drag it to, when change to R and G. And now what's happening? Why we are watching this? Well, this is because we need to remember that and these ramps go from 0 to 1. So here this is only a canvas, like from 0 to 1. Okay, but we need this also these positions in a canvas like the canvas we have. So we need to multiply by our width, and we're going to do this with a mat. Then on multi-add, on multiply, we change to parent dot width. Okay, here we change these guys to 32-bit float mono, and let me see here. We need to change on the material, we need to change specify line far color to off and line near color to black, because it's always black. And now here our width, you can see that is by 1. So let me see. Okay, one more thing to make this work well is we need to change this ramp resolution to the resolution we have here on the tail count. So we drag it here, and now we are working good, but we also are seeing some offsetting. This is because first, our camera, we need to change the ortho origin to bottom left, but also we have this offset, this kind of stripe, and that is because when we are instancing, we always instance from the origin, but our center is not positioned on the origin, so that's why we have this offset. So we can avoid this using a simple transform on the on transform sub after the line sub, and we go to the post page, and on post translate X we select origin, and on post translate Y we select also origin, and now all of them are positioned in the correct way. Okay, so we are almost there. Here we have all our grid with the same lines. We can also using instancing we can rotate the lines, but we will, if we rotate the lines and make the pattern, we can't achieve the interaction at full, because we need to use or to interact with the diagonals separately. As you can see, the position in X defines the width of the left diagonal, and the position on Y controls the width of the right diagonal. So if we make that from here, we only can change these ones. So that's why we need to copy and paste these things, and change the orientation of this line. If we go back here, we can see that this is also giving us the position. So we only need to change this guy, and yeah. So okay, I'm going to change this to here, and this to here. Yeah, and now we are there, and as we have this transform, they fit correctly, but we have now this like square grid. That is because we need also to decide the scale, in this case for TouchDesigner, the scale of the right and the left diagonal, and how we can make that in a random way, well, using some noise. So I'm going to use a noise from here. I'm using it from here just to take the size, so we don't need to type it. So first we go to the output page and we select noise. Then we go back to noise and select random GPU. Okay, the amplitude and the offset are good because we are going from a value from 0 to 1. And finally we use nearest pixel and 32-bit float mono. Okay, so from here we can start also. I'm going to change the name to scale 1. From here we can start instancing the scales. So I'm going to scale the first diagonal, and we are looking that it's good, but if we go back from here, our diagonals are 0 or 1 of scale, or they exist or they don't exist. And here we have also more oscillating values. That is why, because our noise is going from 0.5 plus 0.5 and minus 0.5, but we need to quantize this, so we use a limit, and we go to the quantize page, we use round, and we need to quantize these values to a step of 1, so they are 0 or 1. So now you can see, if we go to nearest pixel here, that we have values from 0 or 1. And now the grid is looking also good, but there is something missing. We are using only this scale for the Geo1, but also we need an scale for the Geo2. and this scale of the GO2 needs to be the same scale we have here, but our values that are 0, they need to be 1, and our values that are 1 need to be 0. How can we achieve this? Well, we use an level, and we just simply invert to 1. We change here to nearest pixel. We can copy and paste this null, so it changed the digit of the name. And now this is the same information but invert. So if I drag this one to scale and select R and R, now we start looking to these like maze patterns. So that's a good sign that we are working good in this sketch. So I think that it's resolved. So we need to solve the interactions we have. As you can see, we can control the width of the lines with um, X movement, and this also of the Y movement. And if we click on the screen, we change the pattern. So that's another interaction. And also we can change the termination or the end of the lines, and that's also other interaction. So we can start from taking a panel chop, from which we going to select inside UV and inside V. We can rename it here if we want. So maybe select can be seed, because it will act as the seed. Inside U needs to be mouse X and mouse Y inside V. Okay, so from here we again use select and select seed. This seed needs to be connected to a count. We just need to count every time we make click on the screen. So this change always we click will change, and it will change our seed. Okay, so we just need to drag it to the merge, and from this null we need to export the seed to this noise and to the seed parameter. So now that interaction is resolved, every time we click it will have a different pattern. Okay, the next thing is selecting from here. We're going to select mouse X and mouse Y. The width, if we go back here, we can see that it says that our stroke weight is the position on mouse X divided by 20. So as we have here a normalized position, we need to change this to our full position, and we make this by multiplying by the width of our parent. So we text parent dot width, and now we are almost there. We drag it to the merge, and now on the line, as we deactivated the far color, we only change the near color or the near width. And for this diagonal is the interaction with the x-axis. Okay, so here I'm going to drag this guy, mouse X, and I'm going also to copy and divide by itself, but here I'm going to change to child count. So now we have this width controlled by our position in X. So we can copy and paste the same to the line 2. but we need to make some changes. Here the division is okay. Here we need to divide mouse Y, and now you see that it's also working, but we don't have the interaction that is decided from processing. That is because our origin are different in Y. So to make this the correct way, we just need to type parent dot width, and we need to subtract the mouse Y position, but also we need to close this into parentheses so they make the correct operations. Okay, so now we have the interaction as we want, as the processing sketch, and we only need to add our third interaction that we remember. This interaction is the change of the ends of the line. We can change it by changing the line start cap type and this guy, and we need to make it for both of our materials. So here we have a keyword in. This keyword in will be 1 2 3, and now we add a logic. This logic will change to radio button, and here we add a fan. This fan change the operation to fan in, and for now we just add a null and a chop execute. Okay, so here we open, and we need to change here on the values. So we type if val is equal to 0, we change op line 2 dot par dot line start cap type, and the first cap type is 0, that is round. Then I can copy and paste this, so I only change the start word to end, and from here copy these two and only change line 2 to 4, and now we save, and we can copy and paste these 2 more times. We change the values consecutively, and finally here we need 4, that is the without not cap type, and here with a square cap type, and we save. Now we can check if we are making these interactions the correct way, and yeah, if I click, you can see here the clicks. If I click the button, it change the end of the line, and so now we have all our interactions, and basically this is the full tutorial. So this is the result. So I hope this helped for you, and if you have any question, leave it on the comment page. And remember, this sketch will be available for my Patreon subscribers. I want to thank you all for this, and yeah, so remember, you can start playing with this, so you can change different patterns, and it will fit perfectly because everything is well referenced, so nothing is breaking. You can go also down. So yeah, I hope you like it, and see you on the next tutorial. Goodbye.